Good morning, y'all. What's going on? Andrew back with another episode of Ask Me About My podcast. Super excited to be back after a nice, refreshing weekend. We got some big things happening. It is not only Black History Month, and I meant to look this up a kind of space before I started recording, but if you go on Twitter, there's a football player. This is going to come off terrible, but let me see if I can find it real quick. That is going to be sharing quotes and stories about Emmett Till every single day for the whole month of February, which is Black History Month. I wish I was more informed about that topic, but I'm not. That's on me. Let me see if I can really find it super quick. If not, I will put a link in the bio of the YouTube. Shoot, man. I should have looked that up before. I was on a phone call and kind of spaced right before all this. All right, I'll have to look it up and I'll put a link in the bio for you guys. But it is also Super Bowl week. So today and this week, I'm going to be kind of going into different NFL sports topics for the rest of the week, talking about everything from sports betting to the NFL viewer ratings and kind of obviously finalizing or finishing on Friday with my predictions for the game. Super excited. I'm gonna put this out there. I'm going to try and go to at least be in Tampa, but I'm going to try. Not sure I'm going to be able to pull it off, but I'm going to give it a good old-fashioned try. So jumping into today's podcast, one more thing. On YouTube, I'm going to be creating my own channel for Ask Me About My podcast. I'm working on transferring all the videos over to that. All the videos are over there now. I'm just waiting for my approval to go live. So hopefully I should receive that today, and hopefully starting tomorrow, you'll be able to just search Ask Me About My podcast on YouTube, and I'm going to have all the videos there and going to be going live from there in the future and moving forward. Now we can jump into the podcast. So today I'm going to be talking about sports betting. I found a lot of interesting topics and a lot of interesting kind of facts about sports betting. I'm going to look at the few states that watch my podcast or listen to the podcast and go into depth about those. And going to kind of start there. So May 14th of 2018 is when the United States Supreme Court issued a highly anticipated decision that struck down the federal ban on state authorization of sports betting. So this all comes from the Professional Amateur Sports Protection Act, which was put into place to uphold the integrity of sports, and that was what was prohibiting states from authorizing sports betting. A couple things from that. Biggest thing, obviously, is now it's up to the individual states to regulate the laws. This is why it's so complicated, and this is why it hasn't been like a national rollout, and this is why it's kind of been state to state. Some states say that you can bet in-house and can bet on sports teams in that state. Some say you cannot, and this has been the biggest holdup for the sweeping change in sports betting in the United States. Sports betting at some capacity, whether in person or on mobile, is legal in 21 states as well as the District of Columbia. For some reason, this was a fact that I had a really tough time finding, and every single website I went to was different, ranged from 18 to 21 states. And again, that goes to just the complex nature of every state picking their rules and regulations for this. So out of the top 5 states that listen to my podcast, Ohio, Texas, Washington, Florida, and Colorado. Colorado is the only state that has legal sports betting, both in person and online. So this was approved back in 2019 and then went live in May of 2020. So approved a ballot member that would provide for the regulation of sports betting through licensed casinos. So big point there, through licensed casinos. There are currently 35 casinos in all of Colorado, and all of them are on the Utes Indian tribe land, which is in 3 locations: Blackhawk, Cripple Creek, and Central City. So back to the through licensed casinos, kind of caveat of this. So for example, you have FanDuel is the sports book for Golden Gate casinos. So FanDuel is just the platform to provide bets in the sports book through the casino. Same with DraftKings. DraftKings is the sports bet for Golden Gulch Casino. And then Barstool Bets, which isn't currently live in Colorado, but I can only assume is coming, is a sports book for Ameristar Casino. So super interesting there. Again, it's through the licensed casino is how it's set up here in the state of Colorado. So they have both in-person retail sports betting at these locations as well as the app. So FanDuel, DraftKings are kind of the two largest ones here that we have in Colorado. The tax revenue from sports betting will help fund various state water projects. And I'm going to read an excerpt, a piece. I'm going to read a piece of this fund, and this will kind of give you an idea. I found this super interesting that, where the tax money was going. So this plan is a roadmap that leads to a productive economy, vibrant and sustainable cities, productive agriculture, and a strong environment, and a robust recreation industry. It sets forth the measurable objectives, goals, and actions by which Colorado will address its projected future water needs and measure its progress. All built on the shared values, just as it was created. This plan will be implemented by working collaboratively with the basin roundtables, local governments, water providers, other stakeholders, and the general public. It includes a set of policies and actions that all Coloradans and their elected officials can support and help implement. So super interesting there, where all this tax money is going. Out of the 17 sports books that currently operate in Colorado, like I said, DraftKings is the leader. They currently hold 46% of the online market in terms of gross revenue. And you have FanDuel coming in second with roughly 38% of the gross gaming revenue. So between the two, you have 84% run Colorado, which I guess is not really a monopoly, but a duopoly. So kind of interesting there. It doesn't really leave a ton for everybody else, but I guess that's what you get. Here in Colorado, I don't know if you don't live here, we've been receiving a ton of marketing from those two, everything from increased wagers, boosts. I guess I shouldn't say increased wagers, but you put $100, you get $100 sort of thing. Whether it's billboards, social, TV, OTT, kind of all the above. In 2020, Colorado had $1.1 billion in wagers. And in a year where viewership has fallen, this is pretty amazing. The top 5 sports that Colorado has bet on are, I'm going to give you 2 seconds, think them through. Top 5 should be fairly easy, fairly straightforward. Starting with the NFL at $67.9 million. Then you have baseball in second, NCAA football in third, basketball in fourth, and I'm sure you all got this correct, table tennis. Table tennis in 5th place at $9.3 million in wagers in the state of Colorado. Kind of crazy. Colorado is considered a test market for the future of sports betting. It's a very restriction-free market, manageable 10% gross gaming revenue tax, and it creates a level playing field for this new industry. Probably one of the biggest things here is you have your East Coast casinos up in New Jersey, Atlantic City, and then you have your West Coast casinos considered to be Nevada, and you have Colorado obviously kind of in the middle, setting up its own system. So those were kind of the two big factions before this all started. You had the East Coast casinos and West Coast casinos. So that's why this has pretty much turned into be a battleground state for sports betting. Like I said, just mainly geographically. And you're starting to see this with one major move by Australians PointsBet, which placed their first U.S. headquarters here in Denver, Colorado. I think that kind of shows you where the future of sports betting is going to go and how the landscape is going to pan out and how Colorado is going to play a key role in that. And that's going to be super interesting to follow over the course of the next few years as this kind of gets implemented across the country. Really appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate your time. Again, we're going to be on YouTube, hopefully starting tomorrow on Ask Me About My Podcast on YouTube. You can obviously listen wherever you listen to podcasts, everything from Apple Podcasts to Spotify. We are produced on Anchor, and that is where you can go support. So anchor.fm/Ask Me About My Podcast. If you want to donate, that would be absolutely amazing to help with the content. Again, really appreciate your time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week and enjoy your Monday. Go out and crush it. Have a good one. Peace.